Welcome, friends, to your Thursday Zodiac specific reading. So I'm happy to report that today we have a new deck. This deck is called the Cat Tarot, and I purchased it today. You know, I've been looking for some time for a deck, to incorporate into this channel, but also one that, does not contain nudity. Now, one of my close girlfriends actually was gifted this deck not too long ago, and I've had a chance to connect with it a few times, and I did some readings for her using the deck, the Cat Tarot deck, and it's a little different. So I want to unbox this with you guys, and unfortunately, please don't mind my kitchen knife that I'm having to use here. I could not find my pocket knife, and I really don't lose it. I've had it for years, and of course, when I want to use it, I can't find it. So I'm just wanting to do some clean cuts there. Now, this deck is different in that, I believe, if I'm correct, like for example, swords are indicated by teeth or nails of the cat. So beautiful. I really am happy to have this deck. Look how cute there too. So if you close the box, I mean, just really adorable. And so, I really did connect with this deck. So when I did see it today, I was at the bookstore. It just resonated with me to buy it. So I'm so happy already. It's so cute, starting here with the Fool. Beautiful. So yeah, guys, we're just going to dig into it, but I want to do a quick... Okay, so we have the Suit of Wands, which will be represented in this deck by toys and other playthings, okay? Now the Cups will be represented by dishes and bowls. Okay, so far, so far all that makes sense. And then, as I said, for swords, okay, represented in this deck by claws and fangs. And lastly, we have pentacles, represented by food and treats. So I'm going to do my best to remember that as I go through. Again, just remembering, guys, a brand new deck for me. And before we begin, I'm just going to connect with each card very briefly. So, of course, I will have timestamps below in the description if you'd like to skip ahead. But I've already, blessed the deck in my own way as I opened them. But let's just go through here. So we have the Fool, the Magician. And I'll go ahead and show, I'll show them but here we go. We have the Fool, the Magician, the High Priestess. Gorgeous. They're just all so beautiful. The Empress, the Emperor, the Hierophant, the Lovers, the Chariot, Strength, the Hermit, the Hierophant. Okay. I confused myself there for a moment. I was like, I just saw the Hermit. That was the Hierophant. The Wheel of Fortune, Justice, the Hanged Man, Death, Temperance, the Devil, the Tower, the Star, the Moon, the Sun, Judgment, the World, and those are the 22 major arcana. So we're going to move on then to the suits, starting with the Ace of Wands. And again, the wands will be represented by playthings or toys. Ace of Wands, Two of Wands, Three of Wands, Four of Wands, Five of Wands, Six of Wands, Seven of Wands, Eight of Wands, Nine of Wands, 10 of Wands, Page of Wands, the Knight of Wands, the Queen of Wands, the King of Wands. Moving on to the Cups, Ace of Cups, Two of Cups, Three of Cups, Four of Cups, Five of Cups, Six of Cups, Seven of Cups, Eight of Cups, Nine of Cups, 10 of Cups, Page of Cups, the Knight of Cups, Queen of Cups, King of Cups, and we are now moving on to the swords, starting with the Ace of Swords, the Two of Swords, the Three of Swords, the Four of Swords, the Five of Swords, the Six of Swords, the Seven of Swords, the Eight of Swords, the Nine of Swords, the Ten of Swords, the Page of Swords, the Knight of Swords, the Queen of Swords, the King of Swords, and lastly we are moving on to the Pentacles. Ace of Pentacles, Two of Pentacles, Three of Pentacles, 4 of Pentacles, 5 of Pentacles, 6 of Pentacles, 7 of Pentacles, 8 of Pentacles, 9 of Pentacles, 10 of Pentacles, Page of Pentacles, Knight of Pentacles, Queen of Pentacles, and the King of Pentacles. All right, everyone, thank you so much for allowing me to connect with each card before we begin our reading today. And like I said, this is going to be, Zodiac specific. So with that in mind, let me just get my setup together here. Okay, perfect. Oh, I lost it. It's just because once I get into the reading and I start to forget what... Okay, here we go. All right, so this is... I'm taking these questions from a spread I found online called the Satori spread, which is the spread itself that I found online contains 3 questions. But in this event, I'm going to pull 2 cards per zodiac. And I'm going to go ahead and start shuffling here as we begin, or as I chat through this. But so for each zodiac, I'll pull 2 cards, and essentially I'm going to pull for where are you headed, and then pitfalls to watch out for. And that is something I forgot. I do need to pull up the list of zodiacs, okay, because I don't have them like fully memorized in order. Let me find a better image here. Okay, that'll work. Thanks for everyone's patience. Okay, because like I said, once I get into the reading and I have to like start referencing things, I will forget, and I don't want to hold this up for too long. Okay, perfect. All right, so again, where are you headed, and pitfalls to watch out for. Deck already feels good in the hands, and this is what the back of the card looks like as well. I'm not showing y'all, so just very happy overall with the deck, and very pleased that, again, I don't have to worry about it in terms of imagery and whether it's safe for network. So, it will take, like I said, a little bit of getting used to, just because the suits are represented, again, a little differently. But, I think after a few runs here, I'll get really familiarized with all the cards. Again, wands represented by toys. Cups represented by bowls. Swords represented by claws or fangs, and pentacles represented by treats or caffeine of food. So it should be, we should be pretty good with that. The first time though that I was introduced to the deck, like I said, my friend's deck, and she was explaining that I just took the deck and did a reading for her. First card popped out. All right, excellent. The King of Pentacles. So I'd have to say the king looks very pleased at this time, right? He's got his own I wouldn't say can, but his own jar of tuna snacks here. So I think at this time the collective is feeling very prosperous, and whether that has to actually do with necessarily your pentacles or not, you're feeling abundantly prosperous. And that's just so beautiful that Empress decided to pop out as well here. she was at the top of the deck and just decided to fall over. Okay, so you know, major arcana number 3. This also speaks to creativity, resources, possibly motherhood. Some of you may be mothers or currently expecting. But guys, this is such beautiful energy. I mean, right now you definitely feel abundant, but you also feel very nurturing at this time. Okay, so take that as it resonates. Gorgeous, gorgeous introductory cards there. And today is, well, excuse me, I am reading for Thursday, June 19th. Like I said, I have to have things up, otherwise I get a little crazy. Alright, that feels good. Let's just split the deck here. And again, we are pulling for, see how I forget, where you're headed and pitfalls to look out for. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead then and start there for Aries. Then we have Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, we have Sag, Cap, Aquarius, and Pisces. And just to take a look at the bottom of the deck, very interesting, we have the Devil. Okay, so adorable, guys. I mean, how can we not? But so adorable that, you know, the devil, of course, to the cat is going to be a dog, right? But one of the cutest devil cards I've seen, that's for sure. So you know, I think there is something here, though, that it's still kind of keeping you from being able to move, if you will. And what I'm getting is I'm really noticing right now, I'm focusing in here on the leash that's around the dog here, okay? So it's like, you know, you can tell you're still attached with the leash. It's so you don't just have the collar, the leash is attached. So it's like, and it's like, it's interesting because the dog almost looks, almost has a look of like yearning, or of like, you know, it's looking at something. The dog's looking at something and yearning for it, but it's like they can't go toward it because they're, you know, they're on the leash right now. And as I do go through this, I actually would like to consult the booklet and just kind of touch on that as well, just to see as we move here. If I can recall, okay, that's Major Arcana number 15. Oh, I like how they numbered it here. And you can kind of see in the booklet here, they have the colored card and then just straight, easily visible, like number 15. But I still like that they keep the Roman numerals on the card. So, like most dogs, the devil is all bark and no bite. The dog's gentle expression and uplifted paw represent the lure of more base desires such as slobbering and tail wagging. The leash around the dog's neck symbolizes how we are held in bondage, slaves to our own self-destructive instincts. Yet, looking closely, you can see that the leash is actually quite loose. The dog could free itself if it tried, but it is a dog and therefore incapable. Okay, so take those messages as they resonate, but for sure, I do feel like there's something here that, you know, definitely needs to be let go of, and I definitely do get the self-destructive instincts. So it's something to let go of, and honestly, you know, again, I just kind of on the whim decided to do this quick little spread. So, essentially what I'm saying there is, I wasn't planning for it to come out, and said, because it's like, I feel like this is kind of going straight into the questions that we're going to be asking, which are, again, first card, where are you headed, and then second, pitfalls to look out for. So because you are headed, you are moving on your journey at this time, and again, it's like you're moving on your journey with like eyes wide open, like not even just eyes wide open, but like eyes, I'm just checking on our, just checking because sometimes the video will stop recording if it reaches storage capacity. So anyway, but you have ideas, you have aspirations. Like I feel almost the innocence here, but almost at the same time it's like, or it's not even when I say innocence, more of like, it's like I'm getting your childlike qualities right now, or the energies is coming through, but then it's like you're not letting that child express itself. I think that's the best way to say it. Okay, so then we're just going to jump straight into it, and actually before we do, I'm going to grab a quick sip of water and I will be right back. And we're back, and with that we are starting with Aries. So welcome, Aries. Where are you headed, and pitfalls to look out for? So where you're headed, alright, where you're headed is the Queen of Cups. So the Queen of Cups, to me, this speaks to a lot of intuition. And notice here in the card how the cat's eyes are closed, right? The cat is napping. But I feel like even though the cat has its eyes closed, it's still aware, right? It's like, for the majority, like when I speak about cats, in general, you could not sneak up here on the Queen of Cups, right? So, with that, also, you could take this, I could also take this to say that, because then there are cats that are just very trusting, or they live in the home, they're the family cat. So yes, you could go up to your cat and pet it while it's sleeping and has its eyes closed, and it's going to keep its eyes closed. It's not going to necessarily think twice, because it intuitively already knows, that you're approaching, or that you're safe, or that they're in a safe environment. So the reason I said that, has to do with the Queen of Cups being just emotionally available, but also emotionally safe, and emotionally comfortable, like in your own, in your own ability to handle yourself in certain situations, or in certain connections, or that type of thing. So we're gonna jump over here. I'm gonna take a look. Okay. All right, so where are you headed? Regal, it's like at your core, you demand respect. You exemplify love and kindness, but you're also intuitive about the emotional security. That's kind of what I was like trying to say. When you're emotionally secure in yourself, you're not on guard. You're not, that's why I said you could approach the cat even while the cat's napping and kiss it on the head, or snuggle your face, or that type of thing. So so you're wherever you're headed there with emotional security. So that is just very beautiful to see. You are in your comfort zone at this time, filled with comfort, love, and kindness. This time calls for compassion and a special emphasis on self-care, okay? So it's like at this time, guys, very beautiful energy. It's like you really have nothing to worry about here. Now, next in line, we have the Death card, Major Arcana number 13. and very funny, very funnily, is that, I don't think, it doesn't sound right, but very funny enough, is a vacuum. So pitfalls to look out for. Like the vacuum, this card makes a lot of noise, but doesn't actually portend doom. And what's funny is, I was just vacuuming earlier today, and again, my cat, if you can see, he's just napping there on the bed. He's good, like, because at one point he was living with another one of my cats, but that cat, talk about scaredy cat, like the epitome of scaredy cat. Like if I did turn the vacuum on, I mean literally he was gone for like, I mean I'm exaggerating, but you know, he was gone for like days. You know, I can turn the vacuum on around Sammy, and like he doesn't care for it. You know, he may like jump on the bed or like go to the other room if I'm in here, and then when I go over there he'll come back over here. So he doesn't care for it. But it's funny because I was talking to my brother about how it's like, it's funny, it's just like they know. It's like, because it's like, Sam, obviously I'm not going to come kill you with this, you know. It's like, so but he's emotionally secure enough to like not run away in pure fear, but he still doesn't care for it. So with that being said, there's something here about like, don't listen to the excess noise, all the buzz around you. You know, or like, I'm getting some, like, don't listen to the fear-based language or the fear-based communication or that's coming your way, you know, if you can avoid doing so. Now, you know, with the Queen of Cups, it was talking to self-care, okay? So, you know, just, you know, the Death card brings change, a cleansing of unhealthy attachments, as well as surrender. So let the vacuum vacuum. Hide if you must. Transformation can be scary, but it's better to clean your problems up than brush them under the rug. So pitfalls to look out for as you move along on your path is just, it's just like you're being told here to just continue like cleansing your energy, cleansing your space, your environment of anything that you consider an unhealthy attachment, whether it be people, places, things. And it's like it says, let the vacuum vacuum, right? You know, pull back if you must, you know, whatever self-care means to you, whether that's like the cat in this card, staying in and just cozying up, or, you know, if you're not feeling that need to hide per se, then just as you move along on your journey, just, again, don't let the buzz or don't let the noise or don't let whatever that, you know, don't let anything discourage you is what I'm saying, or make you run away and consider different options. And I hope I'm kind of that's, you know, coming through. Because it's like this cat, it's almost like this cat was on its way toward the sun, or like right toward the light, like kind of just going, and then like this vacuum starts coming on its path and it like jumps out of the way. But there's something to be said there about that jumping out of the way, again, even with this Queen of Cups. So just remember, if something pops up that's like reminding you of this type of energy, is to, again, tap into that emotional security, because you do have it. You're you're secure within yourself. So feel free to consult with yourself, but just be true to yourself. And I feel like, I don't know, really what I'm getting from the Death card is just don't listen to the outside opinions. Don't let them deter you, you know, because you're on a path, you know what I'm saying? And maybe you may try to avoid, you know, the death of connections, or the, you know, fearing change, possibly. But again, guys, you've got, I'm just saying, you have the emotional capabilities to handle any kind of situation, any kind of transformations, any kind of endings, because whatever this is, it's gonna be for the better, in terms of, again, letting go of any unhealthy attachments. That's going to continue to propel your emotional abundance. And again, with that death card, you know, there's just something about not really paying much attention to all the fuss, all the loud noise, you know, however that looks like to you, whatever that is. I'm getting maybe like in the comment section, you know, just don't let anything, or, you know, even these healthy attachments perhaps could be, you know what I mean? Don't let these don't let these unhealthy attachments deter you, you know, if they're still lingering in the energy, right? All right, so now we're going to move on. Thank you so much, Aries. We are moving on to Taurus. Welcome, Taurus. I hope everyone is doing well. So we're going to start off. You have a major arcana here, same as Aries. I just didn't really point it out, or maybe I did. They had the death card. So, Taurus, you guys have the Temperance as well as the Four of Wands. Okay, Temperance is coming in for where you're headed, and the Four of Wands, pitfalls to look out for. And if I didn't, you know, just a quick mention, this is a very brand new deck that I just got today. So just, you know, just really kind of sitting with the imagery here, so I appreciate your patience. Okay, it's beautiful imagery, and I'm kind of getting a... Alright, so I'm going to let you guys take a look here. But we are starting with the Temperance card. That is Major Arcana number 14. And that is coming in for where you're headed. Temperance reminds us that nothing is more satisfying than exercising self-restraint. Except perhaps where fish are concerned. But moderation in all things, okay? Obviously, the Temperance very much speaks to balance. And so wherever it is that you're headed, you are either headed there right now in good balance, like in harmony, I should say, and you're well aware of that. And it's like, I feel like at this time you guys may really have let go of a lot of things that no longer serve, like little, perhaps, you know, call them like habits that were really not serving your highest good. You've kind of been letting them go, or you're at least have your eye on them and you're like, you know I need to let this go. So there's something to that effect here. The water in and outside of the bowl represents the spotless satisfaction that results from balanced behavior. The rays represent angelic equanimity. Go with the flow, not the trickle, not the flood. Patience can get results. So there you are, guys. Wherever it is that you are headed, it goes right along here with the Four of Wands. But wherever you are headed, patience is going to be your best bet, guys. 100%. Okay. So moving on to the Four of Wands, these are pitfalls to look out for. And just take a look at the imagery here. It's been said that this is one of the happiest cards in the minor arcana, and the key lies in sharing the pleasure and rejoicing in the beauty together. Okay. What's not to love? A wide lawn to sprawl on, bountiful sprays of catnip. Everything is calm and stable. A veritable wealth of joy and celebration has sprung up around you, so make time to enjoy the rewards together with your loved ones. And so I think in terms of for you guys, I think possible pitfalls to look out for here. Let me just say this before I forget, but I feel like don't fall into that lack thinking that there's not enough to go around, okay? Again, there's something you want to pursue here with eyes wide open, you know, in a childlike essence and in honesty and innocence to you. There's something there that you want to get off your soul or to just, you know, see manifest. But just understand, guys, that what you see here in this card, the lawn expands, you know, in either direction, like infinitely, right? And same with the sky, as above, so below it. It's everything. It's not just what you see in this card. So essentially, just understand that there's more than enough to go around. Like if everyone on this planet legit wanted to be like a multimillionaire, that could be a possibility. Again, what I'm trying to say with that is there is enough to go around. So, you know, just make sure to really understand how much abundance there is in the world. There's enough, again, there's a wide lawn to sprawl out on. There's enough catnip to go around. Everything is calm and stable, guys. Everything is calm and stable. Again, to reiterate, a veritable wealth of joy and celebration has sprung up around you, so make time to enjoy the rewards together with your loved ones. And I think something to do with that pitfall is like just at this time, really just and I think this has to do with your balance, is to kind of get in touch with loved ones, however that resonates to you, whether it's friends, family, but I think that will help you balance as you move along on your journey here. And again, while you're trying to balance yourself, don't balance yourself to the point where you're like not taking risks, or you know what I mean, because you think that perhaps it maybe there's you know, not enough to go around. Like, oh, well, you know, just a simple example, like, oh, well, maybe you want to be on YouTube as well and have a channel, but, you know, you're like, oh, well, there's already so many channels out there. Guys, you know, that is irrelevant. I mean, it truly is irrelevant, because we all have the opportunity to at least begin and start. And, I mean, look at how abundant and fruitful the world is, how many people there are. I mean, each person can't watch every YouTuber on YouTube, right? So obviously you're going to have these little collective pockets of people that find your channel and that resonate with your messages, and that's how you start, you know what I mean, you know, getting you know, the messages from spirit out there, the messages that you feel you need to get off your chest, right? Or whatever it is that you want to start or begin or pursue. Definitely a call there to do so, guys, and to do it with your loved ones. And again, I do happen to be getting 1111 energy here, of course, you know, with the wands, with those 4 wands. I'm also getting 144 energy here for those of you who resonate with that. All right, Taurus, I hope you found some messages in there. And we're now going to move on to Gemini. Welcome, Gemini. I've pulled 2 cards. The first one is where are you headed, and the second one is pitfalls to look out for. So we have 2 Wands cards here for you. We have the 5 of Wands as well as the 6 of Wands. So wherever you're headed, it's going to be victorious, okay? The reason that I say that is because, you know, you're gonna have support, okay? You can see the 2 kittens there. You're gonna have support, someone by your side, whether it's a, you know, and it doesn't necessarily have to mean one person. It could be several people in your vicinity, but whether they're friends, families, you know, romantic partners. So wherever you're headed, you know, you're gonna have support, and in addition to that, oh, there we go. I was trying to find our 5 of Wands page. Okay. And also, you know, wherever you're headed, it's like you just have a plentiful amount here of playthings, okay, if you will. So it's almost like, what's that term? The sky's the limit is what I'm picking up on right now. The sky's the limit. Now, all right, now I'm gonna go ahead and speak to what the card is saying here, okay, which is a little different from what I was picking up on, but either you know, all these messages may resonate for some or all of you. There are only so many toys to go around, so there may be some competition on the horizon, okay? So wherever you're headed, there could be some competition on the horizon. Maybe even a little struggle and conflict, but you have your eyes on the prize. As you can see, you know, here in the card, the kittens have their eyes definitely on the prizes. But just be careful and watch out for the 5 C's. The 5 C's: conflict, competition, chaos, commotion, and cooperation, or lack thereof. Struggles could lie ahead on your path where you're headed, even fiery, passionate ones. So be prepared to fight for your fair share. And essentially, guys, you know, be prepared to fight for your fair share, but I feel like in love, definitely be prepared to fight for yourself. Always to be your biggest advocate, to ensure that no one's crossing your boundaries, and honestly that they're treating you fairly and respectfully and lovingly. I mean, there's really not too much to ask for, but oftentimes, you know, I know it's easier said than done, and then we find ourselves in these relationships kind of side-eyeing ourselves, like what are we doing in this situation? Now, pitfalls to look out for. We have the 6 of Wands. So, as we said, you have an eye on what you want, and everything you need is yours for the swatting. All the hard work you've put in place is paying off, and your self-confidence is well earned. Your passion shows, and the big win is all yours. So essentially, whatever the question nagging at you, there's a good chance that the answer is yes. So in terms of pitfalls to look out for, I want to say it's essentially doubting yourself, you know, because everything is here for the taking, right? I feel like. And it goes along, I'm going to pick up both of these. So you can see your eyes, as I said in both cards, you know, you have your eye on what you want here. and you're putting in the hard work and things are starting to pay off, okay? So just remember, just not to doubt yourself. The big win is all yours. So don't fall into basically questioning yourself, or if you feel like you keep nagging yourself, like by these, if you keep having like the same thoughts that are nagging you about a certain situation, or you feel, maybe it's just something essentially to reflect on here, guys. Again, there's a good chance the answer is yes, so remember that. So if there's been something that's been nagging you and it's like a yes or no situation, that may resonate. All right, Gemini, I hope that helped, and I'll see you guys in the next reading. And next we have Cancer. Welcome, Cancers. So you guys have a Major Arcana, Wheel of Fortune number 10 for pitfalls to look out for. And very fittingly, we have the Seven of Cups. So Cups card, very representative of your Zodiac and water card. Or excuse me, element. Okay, so very brand new deck for me. So I've just, I'm kind of touching here with the booklet. But before I touch on that, let me just take a look at the imagery. So again, we're starting with the Seven of Cups. So wherever you're headed, I'm gonna let you take a look at the imagery. You can see that the cat in this card has 7 bowls. Literally, it looks like of all the same food, okay, just different colors. So wherever you're headed, you're going to have options, okay? Having options always seems like a good thing, doesn't it? Think carefully, however, and look deep inside before making choices, okay? So wherever you're headed, this is going to ring important for your journey. Note the fish here, which represent a deep dive into one's soul, focusing on introspection and an almost sonar-like instinct to make good choices for yourself. So basically it's going to be like, guys, things may not be as clear as you think they're going to be on your path ahead. Sometimes in life, it's not always clear what's reality and what's fantasy. You have a number of different paths ahead of you. Don't rush into a choice. The last thing you want is to pick a bowl and find it filled with less tasty treats. You are known for your instincts. Trust them. All right, and then we are moving on to Major Arcana number 10, the Wheel of Fortune, and this is pitfalls to look out for. And funny that the cat here is literally kind of, on one of those little cat wheels or mouse wheels. And I'm taking a look. There is also a bowl of water here, very interestingly. So again, Cancer's water signs. And there's a very... I'm definitely getting a lot of heavy intuitive energy, emotional energy as well. But something definitely is weighing on your mind. And I feel like you're trying to go with the flow at this time. But notice how the cat is looking up, as well. It's like it's not really looking down. Almost like I want to say, like, you're not looking down at your feet. So when it says, like, to avoid those pitfalls, leave the rat race to the rats. You're rolling with the punches at this time. This card reminds us that life is circular and cyclical. Sometimes you're at the top of the wheel and sometimes you're at the bottom, but you'll always go up again. The bowl of water represents plenty, the eagle, strength. Mice represent trust and opportunity. So many upsides. Let the spinning wheel spin. So I feel, guys, like I do feel like you're in a good period right now. Again, I said you were going with the flow, so I want to say, like, you're rolling with the punches at this time. Oh yeah, because I was like, why did I want to say that? It's because it says that here in the page and I had already spoken to it. But yeah, you're rolling with the punches at this time. So, you know, in the event you go into another down cycle or up or you're sideways, whatever the case, always remember, you know, tap into the energies of your inner strength and, you know, just trust in the opportunities, in the abundance that are to come your way, whether, you know, again, wherever you are on the wheel, just always know that it's like, okay, leave the rat race to the rats. So don't be concerned with what everyone else is doing in the dream of the planet. Just focus on yourself at this time. Focus on your wheel. Again, your inner strength and your trust. You know, your trust that everything is going to work out as it should. Again, with this bowl representing plenty. So don't get overwhelmed by the choices ahead, guys, okay? Again, just always remember there's so many upsides to it's like there's so many upsides that are going to occur along your journey, okay, Cancer? So I would say definitely nothing to worry about. Just if you start to feel overwhelmed, you know, by all the choices, again, it's that reminder to just, there's no rush. Remember, leave the rat race to the rats. There's no rush. Just pull back if you need to, contemplate, think about what's going to serve your highest good, what's going to bring you joy, and all that, okay? All right, Cancer, thank you so much. We are moving on to Leo. So Leo, welcome. You have 2 major arcana right off the bat. I'm going to take a quick pause. First of all, make sure we're still recording. Yes, and I'll be right back. All right, Leo. So 2 major arcana, the Strength and the Hermit. The Strength is coming in for where you're headed, and the Hermit is pitfalls to look out for. So we're going to start with Strength, which is major arcana number 8. Okay. Everyone gets tired, but strength always comes back roaring. No collar can contain you. The dangling infinity symbol represents your inexhaustible source of stamina. No match for the pests at your feet. You are up for anything, whether it's a 4-hour nap or making your voice heard after a successful hunt. So, wherever you're headed, guys, just know that you're headed there with a lot of inner power and abundant strength. And again, you somehow, it's like it says, you have this inexhaustible source of stamina. And just remember your strength. Remember that. It's like when it says, you know, no match for the pests at your feet. You know, if you come into these situations along your journey as you're, you know, headed along your path, just remember, if you start coming into contact with these energies that are not serving your highest good, just remember that they're simply pests, guys. And you have a lot of power in terms of how you handle energies. You know, we all have those alchemical abilities within us. It's just innately, you know, a human thing. It's just really about tapping into that inner power. And where, you know, again, where it says like you really are up for anything. So where you're headed, guys, you know, I feel like, you know, take chances here as well. Because I feel like for most of you, it's like, yes, it says you're up for anything, but I feel like you haven't really been doing anything or like kind of putting yourself out there. So I feel like at this time, you know, really try to experience, like, gain new experiences along your path, you know, as you're headed along. Now we're going to move over to the Hermit, major arcana number 9. And this is going to be pitfalls to look out for. But it's like I said, and I'll hold it back up with the Strength. It's like you may come up at some points along your journey where you get nervous, or it's like you kind of maybe you want to go back into your hole. You know, indoor kitties needn't be any less worldly than wild ones. Much wisdom can be gained simply by watching from the window or even hiding in a shopping bag while the rest of the world goes about its business. The Eye of Horus suggests protection and healing. Here is a safe space to turn your gaze inward. Soul searching may lead you to new realizations or past selves. So I think there's there's kind of two messages here, right? Because Leo, you all have strength, okay? That's clear as day here, okay? The strength is within you, and you have this, and again, this somehow stamina or ability. You know, when others get tired, it's like you're able to somehow pull through, and people do look up to you. Now, I do feel that some of you are being called to, again, kind of take some risks and start experiencing some new stuff. You know what I mean? It's almost like, put yourself out there, because you have a beautiful aura about you. It's kind of like you haven't channeled it. You've kind of maybe gotten, I don't want to say bored, or maybe just things are kind of starting to feel mundane, okay? And you can kind of see that imagery. You're kind of yawning, like, you're not, the toy here at the cat's feet. It's not really necessarily doing it for him anymore. That kind of thing. So for some of you, there is a call to just kind of go out there with that strength and have fun and kind of start. It's like kind of start roughing up the energies, as wherever you're headed, because I feel like you've been on this path. It's again just kind of mundane. So however that resonates to you, maybe you're being called to do something, try something new. And then now for others of you, again, this is pitfalls to look out for. So for others of you, as you move along your journey, it may behoove you to, it's like never be afraid to take the chance to be alone, and to take that time to contemplate, to really think something through, especially if something shows up along your path and you're not certain about it. Just making sure to tap into that, that inner strength, really like into your intuition, right? And if you feel like you just need to kind of take a step back just for your own peace and protection, just don't be afraid to do so. But I'm getting a feeling like, for those of you that just don't normally come out of your shell, not necessarily because, you are protected either way. So it's, even if you're not under the bag with the Eye of Horus, you're still protected, even if you're outside of your of your resting place, okay? So so just take that as it resonates for you guys. Again, it's a call, because there's a fine line between taking too much time off and just starting to like get scared of the world, right, if you will, or nervous about something, or showing your true self. But at the same time, it's like there's something you want to do here, you know what I mean? Like, it's like I feel a little restlessness here, okay? That's what I'm saying. So it's like I'm getting a little bit of restlessness somehow from both cards, but for some of you, come out when you're ready is essentially the message. All right, Leo, thank you so much, and those are your messages for today's reading. We are then going to move on to Virgo, of which we have one major arcana, Justice, number 11, and what looks like, I believe, the Four of Cups. Yes. Okay. So the Justice is coming in for where you are headed. Just because the hand feeds you doesn't mean it doesn't deserve an occasional nip. This card reminds us that actions have consequences. So as you move along your path, simply remember that. So actions have consequences and cause is followed by effect. No surprise that this card is associated with cautious, measured Libra. Fairness will prevail, so play by the rules. So guys, I mean, very straightforward messages there, okay? So as you move along on your path, just remember again that actions do have consequences, whether those are, your actions or actions of another. And, fairness will prevail, okay? So play by the rules. And so essentially, remain essentially in your integrity, guys. Even if that means letting go of people you used to hang out with or something, I'm just kind of getting that type of thing where it's like, just stay true to yourself, okay? And again, play by the rules, however that resonates to you as you move along your path. Because if you don't play by the rules, then, instead you may accidentally get stomped, you may accidentally get your tail stomped on, okay? Now, as you move along, pitfalls to look out for. We have the Four of Cups. Ever wonder if you're legitimately bored or restless, or if you should just be content with what's in front of you? What's this cup? What's in it? Should I take it? What about that one? So many options. Love can be annoying. No wonder you're disillusioned. You've been hurt in the past, and those high standards of yours, whether they are for self-protection or you're just being finicky, if you don't lower the bar a little, you might miss something right in front of you. So you're being told to open up and take a risk here. Okay, so you're going to have to take that as it resonates on your path forward. You're going to have a lot of options in front of you, okay? And this remember, if you're in this state of feeling like you're bored and restless, and I was just talking to that too with Leo. So Virgo, same thing too. If you're feeling restless and bored right now, kind of on your journey, or just kind of lackluster, I'm trying to remember where I was going with that, but it's basically, it's like you can see, in this card how one of the bowls is being, it's like, the owner's trying to show the cat, hey, I've got this bowl for you, but the cat's distracted by, the bowl that's in front of him. But there might be, maybe something more enticing in the bowl that the owner's trying to give to them. But it's like, the owner's being ignored. So that's basically it, guys. So there's something here about, yes, there's so many options. However, really take a look at those options, right? Because if you're just kind of focused on the shiniest one, or whatever that looks like too, if you're just kind of focused on one, or for example, take this as, let's just say, you've got 4 offers to go out on a date. Maybe you just hone in on one because of the exterior, how this person looks, and then maybe you don't even entertain the other dates. But if you were to just go on a date with each individual, you can at least then get an idea of the energy, right? And when I say that, by no means do I mean, you sleep with these 4 individuals. It's just simply you're taking a look. You're taking a look at the energy. You're trying to see, what's in it, if you should take it. Again, what about that one? So something to think about there, guys, okay? It's like, don't sell yourself short, but, if you don't feel right about one option also, keep looking, okay? All right, Virgo, thank you so much. We're going to move on now to Libra. Welcome, Libra. And you guys also, I feel like pretty much I think except for 2 signs, there's a major arcana, at least in each little zodiac reading here. All right, so my beautiful Librans, we have Major Arcana number 20, the Judgment card. And this is coming in for where you are headed. And I'll show you. You then also have the Knight of Pentacles for pitfalls to look out for. So, Major Arcana, the Judgment card. Here comes the Judge. We are our own toughest critics. The judge, it turns out, is you. This card invites you to examine your choices and actions as you move along here on your path. A feather represents the weighing of souls in the final accounting. Are you where you want to be? If not, are you doing what you need to get there? Weigh the scales. How do you rule? So it's very simple, guys. I mean, at this time, you're... I feel like as you're really starting to ascend consciously, where you're headed has a lot more meaning, and again, a lot more weight on the soul. Again, are you where you want to be? And if not, are you doing what you need to get there? So again, big message to weigh the scales, okay? And make sure that you're living in as truthfully and as authentically as you can to yourself. Again, there's that Eye of Horus, which I believe we just saw in Cancer's reading, if I'm not mistaken. Although now that I say that, I think I'm totally wrong. It could have been Leo. But nonetheless, the Eye of Horus there, meaning you are protected, guys. And even you can see the more... I'll take, what looks more like, your spirit guides or your ancestors behind you. It's like it's like I'm getting wise energy from that yellow cat there in the background. Okay, so you are protected as you move along in your journey. And again, as you're weighing the scales, just make sure to be as true and authentic to yourself as you can be. And you can start, again, if you don't know the question to that, start by asking yourself, are you where you want to be? And if not, what does that look like? And, how can you get there? Okay. All right. And now we then have the Knight of Pentacles. That is coming in for pitfalls to look out for as you move along your journey. The Knight represents the ideal mastery of attaining rewards and possessions. You can see the bowl of cereal. You know exactly what you want, but there's hard work ahead to make it yours. So plan. And we're just talking about weighing the scales with the Judgment card. So you're being asked here to weigh the scales and plan. Set realistic goals, as success is yours with both patience and persistence. All right. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. We are moving on to Scorpio. Welcome, Scorpios. Okay. I just want to make sure I was correct in that. So yes, Scorpio, welcome. All right. So you have one major arcana coming in as the World. And we also have the Queen of Pentacles. The Queen of Pentacles is coming in as your card for where you're headed. The Queen of Pentacles portends great tidings ahead, but as always, it takes both diligence and intelligence. Okay, so remember that as you move ahead, as you move forward. The Queen of Pentacles is nurturing, supportive, strong, loving, creative, and successful, thanks to her paws-on approach to the tasks in front of her. She's incredibly astute and willing to keep at it until the treat is out of the maze. If she sounds ideal, that's because she is. These are the standards to aim for. So, my beautifuls, as you move along on your journey, keep your standards high. Or if you have standards, or if you're aiming for certain standards, don't back down. And just like it says, as the Queen of Pentacles here, we'll keep at it until the treat is out of the maze, okay? And if that sounds like out of the ordinary, it's because you are out of the ordinary, okay? And that's so crazy. I can't recall, I just heard something else, but like literally having standards or having high standards, you know, those can be considered, those are spiritual standards, right? So if that resonates with you, but again, you know, you're going to need both diligence and intelligence as you move forward in life. And you know, and there is just one star here on the wallpaper in the background, so that's definitely standing out to me. In terms of just, it's like I feel like you guys really do have a good sense of hope about you. You know, you have a hope, like a gratefulness and positivity about life, and you're very hopeful for what's ahead. Or it's almost like too, what I'm getting in by looking at this card is like, it's like, you know, as the Queen of Pentacles, but you know, even if you can't necessarily see what's ahead in the maze, if you will, you know that you have good things coming your way, okay? So again, just keep at it with that intelligence and with your diligence, you know, and don't give up, guys. Just essentially, like, that's the main message, where you're headed, don't give up, okay? Now, pitfalls to watch out for. What's so funny is because it's like this cat's hanging there from the string. You've got the World on a string. The final card of the major arcana, the World, represents completion. In the four corners, we have the four elements, 3 delicious food groups, and the fire used to cook them. This card finds you well fed, satisfied, and purring. Let the wide world spin. So, I mean, that's really wonderful, Scorpio. Again, it's like you've got the world on a string, aka you've got the world in your palm, right? So as you move along in your journey, I feel like the 4 elements will be important here to you. So do your best to, you know, to get in water energy, wind energy, fire energy, and earth energy by like grounding, sitting by a fire, you know, getting in the water, showering even, but you know, that type of stuff I feel like is going to be very important. But right now you're satisfied, okay? So, you know, this does represent, again, completion. So you're well on your way, guys, to having completed, I feel like, a chapter of just intense learning. Again, how it kind of discusses, you know, different food groups, and like, you know, just like you've gone through a lot, you've learned a lot, and now it's like a new chapter will be opening up, where you will learn more things and even new things. So and it's just, I'm still getting like, just don't give up, like with that Queen of Pentacles. Like, you know, even if you feel like you're gonna like lose your grip on something almost, you know, just remember, going back to the Queen of Pentacles, not to give up. You know, you have the intelligence to, you know, and even the diligence. That's why it's like, be diligent, and you're going to be able to, you know, craft, right, the world and the reality that you so wish. Right. Scorpio, thank you so much and be well. We are moving on to Sagittarius. How are you guys? We have major arcana, the Fool, as well as the 6 of Swords. So I feel like you, wherever you're headed there with, I want to say like with eyes wide. How do I want to say this? You're headed there with intrigue and curiosity. Like a cat forced to wear accessories, we all feel foolish sometimes. This card, first in the deck, reminds us that trailblazers needn't worry about the opinions of others. Cat-like curiosity is your guide. The sunny yellow background represents optimism about the venture ahead, and the white rose signifies trust. Whether that will turn out to be misplaced remains to be seen. But the point is, guys, even if you feel foolish about something, don't instantly label it or categorize it as perhaps, even if you feel like it's foolish, you really need to tap into, is that truly the feeling coming from your, higher self or from the ego? So really, you're being called to tap into, like I said, it was like right off the bat, I got like this look of like damn, we starting again, like here we go, almost, so there's just this almost like this childlike curiosity. So take those adventures, take those opportunities, if something does pique your curiosity, I'm almost feeling like wherever you're headed to essentially tap into that if it so resonates, again, something might feel foolish. Like, I'm not gonna lie, even taking something as like creating the tarot channel, right? I was like, is this gonna go anywhere? Is this a good idea? Yeah. Is it foolish? Is it, it's just this very simple example, right? But it's like, again, my curiosity was piqued, it was resonating with me, and I went for it, and so here I am. But so it's something along those lines, guys. If there's something that's calling to you or resonating to you, that's essentially your call. All right, now we're moving on to the Six of Swords. This is coming in for pitfalls to look out for. You're feeling a little low, but you'll soon be moving on from a rough situation, or trying to at least. And yes, you are moving on from a situation because the Fool, major arcana is 0. Of course, there is no 0 in numerology, but this is indicating new beginnings, the start of a new cycle, that kind of thing. Okay. Your past transgressions are behind you, even if the damage you've done is still glaringly apparent. Everyone can see those tears you've made with your claws. Whatever the next phase, know that it offers you some opportunity to calm down. It's a bit of a stretch, but if you just go with the flow, something more positive awaits. Okay. And again, with that, and trust that with that white rose, just trust in source. Okay, guys. So, and I also feel, like whatever happened in the past, like don't look back on it and feel a certain way about it. You know what I mean? Whatever past transgressions or pain or whatever the case, it's almost like saying, like, you can't blame yourself for something that happened, almost, whether you caused it or not, or, there were other energies involved here. It's like, let the past be in the past. Like, it's almost like don't look behind you, with the Fool here. Don't look behind you. Move ahead with optimism and in the energy of the sun, guys. All right? All right, excellent. Sagittarius, lovely reading. We are now moving on to Capricorn. We have the Magician followed by the High Priestess. All right, so very beautiful 2 major arcana. Now, we have the Magician. This is coming in for where you're headed. So right now, just like looking at the imagery, right, you're reaching for something. You've definitely got an idea in mind. The Magician straddles 2 worlds, one paw reaching skyward, 2 more on the ground, signifying the work of creativity. This is the magic of everyday invention. The circular snake reminds us that this is an infinite process in which matter is never truly created nor destroyed, just transformed. The playthings represent the 4 elements and the 4 tarot suits, all the material needed to make magic or art. Add wisdom and purity, represented by the red roses and white lilies, and the spell is cast. So, my friends, as you move along, okay, where you're headed, use the magic of the day-to-day. And I feel like more specifically, just being grateful for the day-to-day and being as joyful as you can be in every moment is really going to aid you here on your journey, okay? Again, remember that energy is neither created nor destroyed. It is only transformed. So you have the ability to alchemize and transform the elements into magic, into art, into creativity, and just make sure that you're tapping into your wisdom and your purity. And by purity, I mean your childlike innocence, what brings you joy, your happiness, okay? So very beautiful. So you guys are headed, you know what I mean? You're headed into, I feel like, it's like you're headed into such potential. That's what I'm trying to say. You're headed into such potential to really co-create along with source energy the life that you really want to see manifest in the 3D. All right, so just remember that you have the power of the magician, literally, in your court. All right, and now pitfalls to watch out for. We do have the High Priestess, Major Arcana number 2. Like an unexpected doorbell chime on a boring day, a visit from this card is both welcome and mysterious. The High Priestess card depicts a world fertile with possibility and power, as suggested by the symbols of moon and water. The candles represent darkness and light, secrets and clarity. The curtain conceals what exactly is germinating. Whatever it is, it's catnip to you. Surprises are much more fun when you know they're good. So I feel like as you move along your journey, right, guys, you may, again, it's like it said, like an unexpected doorbell chime on a boring day. Along your path, you may be met with things that you welcome in and things that are very mysterious to you. It's essentially to always, tap into your intuition. Just tapping into the card a little bit more. I am taking a look here at like the potion in the bottle. I was just saying, you really do have the ability, this is such powerful energy, guys, the Magician and the High Priestess. This is all about, as you move along on your journey, taking action, ambition, and manifesting. And this is all about, tapping into your intuition and learning along the way as well. This can also speak to secrets, okay? So you may have secrets revealed to you, but whatever it is, it's like, when it says it's like catnip to you guys, it's because it's that intuition. It's like you already know how things are going to turn out, or you may have already known how a situation was going to play out and it did, or how a romantic situation would go and it did, right? Things like that. So I would just say really pitfalls to look out for. You know, give things time to germinate. You know, as you're manifesting, give the things time to germinate, and know that things are working out in your favor. I mean, that's why it was so important when it said, whatever it is, or, you know, these surprises are much more fun because you know they're good. It's like, you know, don't forget that feeling of knowing that what you want is yours to have with the Magician. You know, and if you're ever in doubt, you know, it's just really to tap into that intuition. And sometimes I feel like perhaps you may ignore that intuition. So, you know, big call there, because you can see how the cat is kind of like looking off into the distance, not necessarily at the potion or the candles in front of her. But there are two, you know, again, two star symbols that are popping out. So, you know, as you move along in this energy, you know, you have an air of positivity and hopefulness about you. But again, all right, my friends, so my cat's alarm just went off for dinner. But anyway, it's, you know, as you move along, know that you have the ability to transform and alchemize the energies to your will. But pitfalls to watch out for are just, you know, repressing your intuition or not really listening to your intuition. So those definitely are the main messages. And I thank you so much, Capricorn. Aquarius, welcome. We are now moving into your 2 cards. We have the 9 of Swords and the 6 of Cups. Now, the 9 of Swords right off the bat, I am picking up on a little, I want to say restlessness right off the bat. Okay, so this card is coming in for where you're headed. A dark cloud is looming, serving as a warning of things to come. Depression, fear, anxiety, grief, sadness. No wonder your claws are out and you're clinging on for dear life. You're overwhelmed with a sense of dread, and it may feel like you're barely hanging on. Just know that your perspective might be skewed by mental exhaustion. Things are tough, but they may not be as bad as you think. There is light at the end of this proverbial tunnel. All right, guys. So again, you know, as you may be facing, again, just this dark cloud at this time and feeling, again, just overwhelmed at the most basic level. But I think this is a call to just put a perspective on it in terms of mental exhaustion. Like if you feel you're mentally exhausted, if you feel like you're mentally exhausted, that's just a sign, you know, for you to maybe take a step back and reevaluate the situation. Typically, you know, with the 9 of Swords, it's like, the energy coming off this card speaks to anxiety, right? And so, but typically, oftentimes as human beings, we often paint the picture in a worse situation than it actually is, right? Like we think of like the worst possible scenarios, or, you know, we think so-and-so's thinking the worst of us, and like in actuality, you know, those things may not even be going on. So very important also message I want to say here as you, you know, in terms of where you're headed, is to not assume. Don't assume at all, like no matter what you do, and that'll definitely help a lot, guys. All right, now we are going to move over to the 6 of Cups, which is coming in for us as pitfalls to look out for. Youthful, kitten-like innocence is front and center. Happy childhood memories abound. Perhaps you're reconnecting with your inner kitten or with actual kittens. Either way, good things from the past are coming up for you. Maybe it's a good time to laze an array of sunshine with an old pal. Spend quality time teaching a young one how to keep their food inside the bowl, as opposed to, say, sitting in it. But whatever's on the horizon, it's happy times ahead. So I would say, essentially pitfalls to look out for here. I would definitely say it's like it would be to ignore your inner child, right? Or your inner kitten. Especially if you're going through a period of like anxiety or depression and just, again, depression equating to just deep rest. It's like your body's way of mentally and physically telling you, hey, we need to take a step back and take some deep rest now, right? That's kind of so when I say depression, I don't want you to take that as like a condition or something, right? But it's just energetically. Lost where I was going with that, but anyway, so pitfalls to avoid though, guys, first, just very importantly, is to not ignore, your inner child. If you feel like something's off, something just isn't sitting right with you, that may be something to look at. Especially if you're in a situation where perhaps you're in a romantic connection with someone, or just a workplace situation, or some kind of situation or circumstance or connection where you're not really being shown the ropes, or you're not being, it's as if maybe this person is not really, I don't know, this could vary differently for a lot of you, but it's just really making sure you take care of yourself, really watch out for yourself, you know what I mean? Because you have to be essentially your own, biggest advocate, okay? But, this card really speaks to peace, the Six of Cups. So, that's what I'm saying. It's like you don't want to walk around with this cloud hanging over you all the time. So tap into your inner child, keep yourself safe, do things that bring you joy and happiness, to lessen these feelings of anxiety. All right. All right. Well, Aquarius, I wish you luck. And we are now moving on to Pisces. Pisces, welcome. We have for you the Ace of Pentacles, followed by the Two of Pentacles. Now, the Ace of Pentacles is coming in for you for the energy of where you're headed, okay? Aces are about new beginnings and gifts, and this one is especially fortuitous. So wherever you're headed right now, great things are coming your way. Happiness, contentment, and getting your paws on what you desire. If you have a specific goal in mind, it's a good time to move forward. Just remember, when a hand reaches out to offer you a gift, don't bite it. Okay? So very beautiful things are coming your way. I think for some of you, I feel like this is almost a caution to not bite the hand that feeds, or don't almost self-sabotage yourself, or perhaps if you're being offered something, don't just brush it off, but actually read the details or take a look at it before instantly, saying no, right, or turning it away. And then we have the Two of Pentacles. This is coming in for pitfalls to avoid or to look out for. The Two of Pentacles represents a looming choice, perhaps even conflicting distractions. The tides are changing as you move along on your path. And you have some decisions to make, likely around getting your paws on the possessions you crave. The infinity shape of the green ribbon suggests that endless possibilities abound. Still, this can be a time of stress, so keep your eye on your treats and don't get too distracted. Seek balance and avoid pressure to rush into any decisions or agreements, okay? So very importantly, again, pitfalls to look out for. First and foremost, keep your eyes on things, and don't let yourself get too distracted. Remember to seek balance and don't rush. Definitely avoid if there's an energy in whatever circumstance, love, career, finance, that's rushing things or urging you in some form or fashion to move more quickly than you're comfortable. That's definitely a sign to take the time to balance the energy and really make sure that the decision that you're going to choose is the right one for you. All right, everyone, that was really a good time. Very happy to have the Cat Tarot deck to be able to add to our collection. I hope you all enjoyed the deck as well, and we will all see you in the next reading.